come to order. At this time, Councilman Land will give us the invocation.
Lord, we thank you for this day, the blessing that you give us each day. We thank you for the season that we're about to encounter. Lord, we thank you for the blessing that you sent your Son to die for us. Let us remember this and not get caught up in the celebration of the wrong way. We thank you for the council that's here, for the decisions that are going to be made tonight. We ask for your guidance for our community in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Everyone, please join me in a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, gentlemen, once again, we've got our work cut out for us. Do I hear a motion to approve or anything else of the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, please raise a hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion is passed. All right, the first thing we've got on docket is discuss the Hazelhurst Jeff Davis housing, and just turn this over to Oakley at this time. Should have information in your package.
Sure. So you're looking for something that looks a little bit like this, if you've not already seen it for the crowd. Okay, great. So just a little bit of recap. I don't know if this was an official request from the city because it was a little bit before my time. However, it at least was an unofficial request from the city of Hazelhurst that the Joint Development Authority engage with someone to perform a residential market analysis. Georgia Tech has recently completed that analysis. I just want to walk you through this really fast. I promise I won't read everything word for word and take too much time. I promised a 6-year-old we'd watch a Christmas movie tonight, so I have a vested interest myself. However, on this introduction slide, if you can follow along with me, on that project background, I just want to reiterate a few things and get into some of the findings. So one of the big things is that this study was to look at if our local area would support additional workforce housing options. So the studies, how they've done this is they looked at demographic data, looked at supply and demand, current local housing information, all that fun stuff. And the big takeaway, they say it right in the introduction, is the findings presented in this report show that current housing markets are robust enough to support additional residential development in Hazelhurst and Jeff Davis County. So if you hear nothing else from me this evening, understand that our current market is robust enough to accommodate additional housing. If you go over to that executive summary slide, you're going to see a few things here. Again, we're not going to read this word for word, but in that first paragraph, the key thing there is based on the area's demographic data, age of existing local housing stock, and a lack of significant residential construction over the last 50 years, their answer is yes, we need more housing in the city of Hazelhurst. They go on down a little bit further. One of the other key takeaways here is the lack of investment in new residential projects has likely prohibited employees earning in income bands that could afford homes at current market rates from living in Jeff Davis County. So that's the big key there. We have people that could potentially want to live in Jeff Davis County, live in the city of Hazelhurst, but because of our lack of affordable housing, they're not able to move to the city of Hazelhurst. Limited desirable housing for those in the education and government sectors, which directly impact all of us here at the city of Hazelhurst, exist within the county, forcing employees to rent or purchase homes in neighboring communities. The other big thing here is that this comes also from our comprehensive plan that was filed with the state in 2021. In that plan, and in case you're not familiar with that, since we have some new council members, every 5 years, DCA, Department of Community Affairs, requires us to create a comprehensive plan. It's basically saying where we want to be in the next few years. That plan that was last done in 2021 said that we wanted a mix of housing types in the city of Hazelhurst and in Jeff Davis County. We wanted to see townhomes, we wanted to see condos, things like that. This report also backs up that those things would be beneficial here in the city of Hazelhurst and in Jeff Davis County. In that population and trends deal, I'm going to skip ahead a little piece. You know, when you see these things, this is slide 6, it's numbered at the bottom right, bottom left. When you see these numbers, sometimes it's hard for me to visualize what this actually means. In 2020, Georgia Tech said our population was 15,213 in Jeff Davis County. Our projected 2030 population is 15,822. So I've already done the math for you. That's 609 additional souls living in Jeff Davis County. That may not mean like a whole lot. Our average household size is 2.7 across the county. That's also true in the city of Hazelhurst too. If you look at that, 2.7 per household, that means by the year 2030, we need 226 additional homes in Jeff Davis County for these people to live. Now, if you were to say, hey, these new people coming in, they're gonna be younger, maybe they have 2 kids and mom and dad, that's 4 people. That bumps up what that household size looks like. You're still looking at 152 additional homes needed by 2030. And that's gotta be here before we know it. Skipping on forward, that next slide I wanted to look at was slide 8. This is nothing that is gonna surprise any of us. This is employment. The majority of the large employers in Jeff Davis County are sort of centered around the city of Hazelhurst. You have a couple of outliers that's a little bit further away. The big one is Beasley Group. However, the majority of our largest employers are based here in the city of Hazelhurst. We all knew that though. Slide 9 talks about unemployment and private investment. Georgia Department of Labor, the preliminary unemployment numbers for October 2024 is 4.7%. So one thing that you do need to know, and this is going to sound counter to economic development, if that unemployment rate drops, let's say below 2%, it's hard to attract people to come into your community because they're going to look at it and they're going to say, you don't have enough employees for us. You have to have a certain level of unemployment. I know that sounds very counter to everything. So a business will say, if we move here, there's people that we can actually employ and hire here, if that makes sense. We're fine at our current number. I'm not worried about that. However, over the last 3 years, over 100 jobs have been created through private investment in Jeff Davis County. And over the next 5 years, our top 3 largest employers in the county have all indicated that they have plans to expand. And that's going to be additional employees needed over the next 5 years. We are going to skip that. Income details, that's going to be slide 11. In the city of Hazelhurst, median household income is $35,000. Median household income in Jeff Davis County is $42,000. They're very similar. Hazelhurst is lagging just a little bit behind that median income though in the county. Okay. Going down to the big stuff. Slide 13 is that residential construction trend. So this is city building permits. Charles Harrell was gracious enough to provide us with that. The majority of homes in Jeff Davis County were built between 1990 and 1999. However, the majority of homes in the city of Hazelhurst were built between 1970 and 1979. We have aging homes in our community. And one thing that, I may be skipping ahead here, but one thing that, no I'm not, it's right here. One thing that does impact is, let's say you have a home that was built in 1970 and it's not had any updates, any modifications to it. It's pretty aged, it may even have some dilapidation or some heavy need for investment. That home may sell, let's just say for $100,000 or $120,000, and that looks like an affordable home. However, when you look at, okay, I bought it for $100,000, I really need to put another $100,000 into it to bring it up to, modern age. At that point in time, that home is not nearly as affordable. And so when we have these aging homes, it sometimes can mask the affordability of homes in your community because of that. Developing additional single-family products or single-family homes will provide options for potential residents who do not currently exist in the market but are likely to be here and likely to have demand for being here. And I've already mentioned that for you all. Okie dokie. On that next slide, that's slide 14, Georgia Tech looked at this. Owner-occupied homes valued at less than $50,000. This is between 2010 and 2022. They decreased by 16.7%. If you drop all the way down, homes valued between $200,000 and $299,000, some more nines too, increased by 11.8%. So we've had, and we all know this, we've had an increase in home values. If you look over that next paragraph, that next section talks about post-COVID climb. In Jeff Davis County between 2020 and 2022, the typical home value increased by 25%. And it doesn't stop there. Things did start to level off, but in 2023, we had an additional increase of 2%. And in 2024, thus far, home prices have been 6% higher than what they were in 2023. So we're still seeing that continued climb. Slide 15 is going to tell you that based on the median incomes in our community, homes need to be selling for a range of $105,000 to $220,000. That means someone who's in that $35,000, salary bracket, they should be able to afford that home at $105,000 a year, or $105,000 total purchase price. When you look over though, to that housing affordability, again, I'm on slide 15, and you look at that average salary block, that $35,000, that's the median here in the city of Hazelhurst. That affordable monthly rent is $875, and that affordable mortgage is $105,000. Jeff Davis County, again, that median income was $47,000. What's listed here on this chart is $45,000. That still puts their affordable monthly rent out in the county at just over $1,000, and that affordable mortgage at $125,000. When we look at sales prices here in the county and in the city, the homes, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes sold in Jeff Davis County in the past 90 days, those average sale prices has been $176,075. The only homes sold in the last 3 months in this county, built in this century, are mobile or manufactured homes. That really highlights the limited stock we have in true built homes. Okay, this slide, slide 17, shows you current availability on the market. That is when they've done this study, and that would have been September 2024. So if you look at that, and I'm not trying to disparage anyone who lives in a mobile home, please understand that I grew up in a mobile home. However, when you look at that market availability, the only home, I'm just making sure that I'm right on this, the only home in the county up under that $200,000 mark is a mobile home, and it's at $195,000. This was in September of 2024. That site description and evaluation, I'm really not going to go over this. I'm just going to give you the highlight really fast. We submitted 3 potential parcels for development in the county. 2 of these have an active developer who wants to come in. That first one is Site 1. That's the most, I don't know how to phrase that. That's the most likely, we'll say it like that, development that is to occur. That one is on a major highway. Georgia Tech liked it. They said it's not preferred. It's a little bit on the outskirts of the city of Hazelhurst, but they still recommend development there. Site 2, a little bit less likely, but it's sort of motivated developer, is over closer to the schools. They said that's great. It's not really going to help with your walkability of the city of Hazelhurst. However, it does put new homes closer to the schools, and that's a good thing. Site 3 was one that I just threw in for fun, and that's actually the one that they like the most. That is the property, the old City Hall property that you all deeded over to the Downtown Development Authority. They said that is what they would focus on first and foremost. It would increase walkability, it would increase densibility, it would provide more amenities to people in downtown Hazelhurst. They also heavily recommended a mixed use model where maybe your first floor is not residential but commercial, and then your second floor is that residential, and maybe looking at that lot and building stuff on it as well. So that's what Georgia Tech recommended. They said that was their preferred spot. On that, I will tell you this, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but one thing that I will tell you, public investment almost always follows private investment. And I know governments are tight, I know money is hard to come by. However, for every $1 that local government gives towards downtown revitalization work, National Main Street Program estimates that $27 comes back to that local government. So for every $1 you give, you're going to get $27 back. And that's long-term thinking. That's not, I used to be county administrator, and I wanted to make sure that that budget worked, and I wanted to cut costs. That's short-term thinking. But when we think of that long-term impact, every dollar that we contribute towards redoing the City Hall with the Downtown Development Authority, that's going to increase your tax base, because eventually that property would roll out of government. We'd give that over to a developer. That's now a taxable property. We've increased the property value of it. That's more tax revenue for the city of Hazelhurst long term. In conclusion, what Georgia Tech had here is based on everything they looked at. We need additional housing. Unlike many rural counties, Jeff Davis has a positive population growth projections, which further supports the need for additional housing. And then the last thing I want to share with you is that very bottom paragraph on that conclusion side, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. Additionally, as retail investment often follows residential construction, the introduction of new housing products in Hazelhurst and Jeff Davis County will further increase the demand for retail and restaurant establishments and balancing of the county's tax digest and furthering the diversification of the local economy. So that is that report in a nutshell. I went over that sort of quick. Does anyone have any questions for me though on that?
Good presentation.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank y'all.
Very good. And did Georgia Tech take 8 overtimes to be able to get all this together?
Did they? I don't know. I know they took 8 overtimes, but I hope that's not the reason that we have to be together.
You know, I'm thinking football. Oh. All right, our next item is number 2, which is discuss and vote on the liquor store business application license off of 86 Williams. We do have a major challenge with that we'll probably have to deny the liquor license because of the fact Victory Church is within distance of recommendations there that they can't do it. That's state law. All right. Moving on to number 3. We need to discuss and vote on the ERA task.
We need to vote on that, or do we need to?
Yeah, really
Just-
just-
it's
it's
just-
just-
On the liquor store,
Yes, sir.
well, we can vote on it, but it's state law says you can't do it.
Oh, that's.
Okay.
It's no deal.
Yes.
That's the reason I just kind of buzzed by it, because,
Okay.
you know, it's
Yeah,
state
just making
law.
sure we're good.
Yeah, that's all.
I agree, is what it
Yeah,
is.
can't
It
do
is what it is.
Yeah.
The state law definitely supersedes us.
Anything that we do.
All right, Ms. Brandon has moved up there. I'm gonna turn number 3 over. ERCS to Brandon.
Alright, so Laurel was here earlier this week, and I believe she talked about hazard mitigation. She had a meeting with the 404 engineer, that went well. These types of grants cover generators, warning systems, flood walls, building relocations as they're needed. So we want you all to vote on signing a new task order for us to work on hazard mitigation projects.
And adding to what Brandon said, they will perform the grant development, the funding development, management review, and closeout advice. They'll support the filing and tracking of the costs, the development of damage descriptions and scopes of work. They'll help to report to state and federal agencies, support the operational and administrative compliance actions. Basically, it's doing the same thing as what they are doing now, but because we'll be going into hazard mitigation, they know more about the guidelines and so on and so forth, and the paperwork to support that.
In that case, gentlemen, I entertain a motion to put this forward.
So moved.
There's a second to the
So,
motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion is passed unanimous.
Brandon, I will get signatures and
paper.
scan it in to Miss Laurel and everything, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. All right, let's see. All right, Landon, I'm gonna turn number 4 over to you to talk to us about the millage things that we had as a continuation of what Susie talked to us on Monday.
Oh, thank you for throwing that up here. Much obliged. We have had a lot of conversation about the millage rate and what that needs to look like. And, this past Monday, Ms. Kersey recommended that we, or if we were to roll the rate back, Maurice, give me these numbers here, it would be 5.48, 5.58,
5.537.
537.
Mhm.
And would be to roll it back as it were in the years past, and as it has been for the better part of a decade or more.
Mhm.
What I'd like to propose is to roll the mill back to 6. We had voted earlier in the year to increase it by 1 whole mill, but I just think given the circumstances, it's probably not appropriate to burden the taxpayers with that. But we do have to find more revenue for the city, and so I would recommend that we increase the mill to 6 to increase revenue. But it would be such a minimal increase that it would hardly be noticeable on the tax bill.
This is something too that we, I think, had discussed in the past about not trying to put a, burden on our citizens at going up at 1 to 2, and this would be basically like a half,
A half.
Yeah. right.
A little less than half, actually.
I was like to say it's probably a little less than a half anyway.
So my question is, I know the timeline that we have, we will have to have 2 public hearings, and then we'll have to have a final public hearing and adopt the millage rate.
I spoke to Susie about that, and it was insinuated that we could probably piggyback off of the hearings that the school system is
Right.
going to have to have.
And that's the calendar that I have,
Yeah,
so that is my question.
I would go with that.
Okay,
Yeah, the school system and the, county are looking at the 16th as their final decision after that.
There's one on the 8th, I believe.
Yeah, they're gonna
No,
be, before
one on
that,
the-
but their final will be on the 16th, I think.
this is on January the 9th, there'll be 2 public hearings. You'll have one that morning and one that afternoon. Then on the 16th at 5, you'll have your final public meeting and adopt the millage, and then you go into your meeting and, do the final approval then.
Approve it
Yes,
then.
yes.
Yes. All right, do I hear any motion to, say that we do this?
I'll make a motion that we roll the millage rate back to 6.
Motion has been offered to roll, millage rate back to 6, and do I have a second?
Yes.
Motion's been made and seconded, roll millage rate back to 6. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion is passed. All right, going on down, to the next one. The, street closure for the, Hillsborough County, Board of Commissioners are wanting us to close at Walnut Street, I believe it is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that basically, as we looked at that in a map, the last time, there was a kind of a circle that goes around through the, county properties. Talked with, if anybody's not got the map, we'll share that.
Yeah.
But, it was in your stuff Monday. But, David and I have talked, and, the police department's okay with it. I don't see any challenges. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we close the road under the assumption that the county provides all supplies and signage necessary to do so.
Are we deeding this to the county?
Yes.
Doesn't that need to be put in the form of a motion that we're actually deeding it to them?
Well, I figured we'd do 2 separate, close it and then deed it,
We can do 2 different motions, I guess.
unless you want me to.
Unless you want to amend
Rescind
it.
it, or I'll amend the motion that we also deed it to the county.
Is there a second for that?
So,
All right. Motion's been made that we, close Walnut, for the county's use, and, the First Amendment was that, we deed it, to the county. Voting on the First Amendment first, any discussion on deeding the property to the, county?
Point of clarity there, that they will be responsible for closing
Yes.
the road and signage, whatever they need to do to that.
Thank you. Confused me a little bit with it, but,
Yeah.
and that point of clarity is the point that, you made, it was in your motion.
That's right.
That, they will be responsible for the, signage, et cetera. All right,
I have a question, I'll entertain it.
I don't know if it's needed or not, we may wanna make sure there's a easement in there, I do have water and sewer. I don't know how that affect it. Have water and sewer on that road.
okay,
Could be the
Second
amendment.
Amendment.
Second amendment would be that we allow for an easement along the, what was former roadway.
All right. Is there a second to, allowing for the easement through the county?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded, second amendment, comes, this first thing we talked about. Any discussion on, allowing an easement, to, the road that we're looking at closing? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Now the First Amendment is as amended, and is there any discussion?
No, sir.
Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passed. Is the amended, motion, we close the road, and that we, have it, easement, with second amendment there. And, that they all have to put in all of the signage, et cetera, that's there. I spit all this out in a minute. If we, do that, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes.
Chris, you may need to get with the attorney's office so that they can begin the paperwork for all this. Okay, especially on the water and sewer.
And I guess that'll be probably start, I don't know if we mapped that area just yet with the mapping system for the water, sewer and everything
There's
else.
some that are incomplete.
Okay.
Gentlemen, can y'all pre-warn, your daddy that, we're gonna need to deed that? Okay, alright, moving on, let's see, I think I'm on number 6.
Yes.
Alright, 6, 7, and 8, I believe is, our clerk will be discussing, spitting that out, and we'll do it as we go. Number 6.
To refresh your memories, we have been awarded a GFA grant, or a GFA loan for $601,500 for the, Clean Water State Revolving Fund. This is for the CDBG project over off, Southside Circle. It is a 20-year loan at 2.44%, and we're eligible, for principal forgiveness for up to $541,350, leaving the city to, $60-something thousand, requesting that you all allow the mayor and myself to sign all the necessary documents and get this back to GFA.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, to have us sign off on, the circle, project. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Alright, next one.
Second one is, for the lead service line. GFA has, basically did $823,000 with 100% per principal forgiveness. This is allowing the mayor and myself again to sign off on these documents and get them back to GFA for this project. City will not have anything invested in that.
That's blue. Do I hear a motion? Motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded, for us to sign off on this one. Is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion has passed. Alright, number 7, discuss our vote and, qualifying fees for November.
In January 2025, a qualifying notice will need to be placed into the newspaper for the November general election. The city of Hazelhurst will have 2 council positions placed on the ballot in the November election. The notice states the qualifying fee for the council position is $72. Also, the qualifying dates will be held in August 2025, with the general elections being held in November 2025. The 2 council positions will be Ward 1 and Ward 2. Need a motion and a approval on that.
I'll make a motion that we, approve that.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the, voting qualifications, and, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that, please raise your hand. All opposed? Motion has passed unanimously. Alright, Ms.
know we have it there, but I got a little sheet for everybody to look at for my, proposal. That I know the year is coming up, a lot of decisions for us to be made. With the storm coming, we kinda take things for granted. Mostly for the guys that are on salary. They had houses that were destroyed, those various things, and needed, improvements and stuff, so they didn't really have a chance to get off and do necessary things that they needed to do. So, I'm proposing a policy, and it's for employee or personal time off policy to be put inside of the employee handbook. And basically the purpose is for personal time off, it's just self-explanatory, right? And it got the guidelines in there on what is expected and not expected. So the biggest thing is we know we don't have as much money as we would like. There's no money involved, right? The only thing that's involved is time, and that's it. And every pay period, I'm proposing that we do a 4-hour per pay period to add up quarterly, which would be a total of 3 days. And that 3-day time period, in receiving those 3 days that you have in that quarterly for every month, basically, or every 3 months, you only can use 2 at one time. It cannot be in accordance with paid time off already, like vacations, or you got Christmas coming up and those days like that, you can't put it in there, right? With the addition, it needs to be at least a 72-hour notice for the first line supervisor, department head, whoever that person is. Now, letting them know that you want to take it. There will be no explanation of, hey, I need to do this or that. No, that's not required, right? And that's what my proposal is, because it's called personal time off. Because people don't really like comp time and those various of things, so I put it professionally, that's personal time off.
So this is not the superseding thing, it's just an addition.
So there's an addition to it, that's correct.
If I may ask Commissioner Jones, are you going to inject the 72-hour notice into this and?
Yeah, see, department heads at least 3 days notice.
Okay.
So I'd say
Okay.
3 days, at least 3
Okay.
days notice on that, but we say 72 hours,
Okay.
which is still
Right.
time, but it's in
Okay.
there.
And department heads, will control this, that they have the right to deny because of, multiple people wanting the same day off at the same time.
That is correct.
How will we track it?
The department heads are gonna track that, and they will send an email via whatever it means to our HR, and that's how we will track it. That's how they will track it.
Once the PTO is put in.
That is correct. So the moment it's asked for, remember it's a 3-day advance, it's asked for, the department heads will send an email to HR, and they can CC everybody here or whatever, and that everybody knows that this is what's happening. Or let's say somebody puts it in, and they can't be approved for whatever reason. I'm gonna pin this on the department heads, right? So you got 2 guys coming at the same time trying to take the same day off. Hey, I did it this way, and this also includes part-time. The way the policy is gonna be written is permanent or full-time and part-time still equally, they can receive personal time off. So whoever puts in whatever, I'm not gonna say, it's not a seniority, it's not any of that, it's first come, first serve, whatever's going on, and then if they try to put it in, it's their responsibility upon themselves, individuals, in your department, to work out, hey, I wanna take this day, and then it puts it back in the department heads, and they send an email to HR and CC everybody that's on there. So that's gonna be your baby, but it's still gonna be beneficial for the city of Basinghurst and the employees.
And if the department head doesn't do their job, who do I go to?
If they don't go to, they're gonna do their job. They're gonna do their job, right? We're gonna do our job, right? Okay. good.
This is gonna impact the police department and fire department where you have 24-hour service.
That is correct, and that's why I did talk to Chief on this issue, and that's what, the reason I put the 72 hours in there, or the 3 days in there, because that was a suggestion that Chief had, that at least give us 3-day notice so we can try to figure out and work stuff on the departments. So I covered all the bases I could to try to figure out of what maybe the department heads would like to see, And this is the closest and the best thing that we can do to help out all the employees and the department heads in the city.
But for the fire department too, it would only, they could take 8 hours, instead of 24-hour shifts, so they could take like, the daytime part off, 8 hours and during the day, but they'd have to come in and work the rest of the shift. And then two, I'm gonna have to figure out how to work that so that I fill that slot, because somebody has got the police and fire department saying, if somebody's off, we got to fill that slot with somebody.
That is correct. So it's still gonna put that responsibility on the department. We're not gonna tell you however that you would like to do it, chiefs.
So you'd have to find somebody to come in and work 8 hours on a 24-hour
Yes.
shift.
We'll give them 72 hours prior, that way we get a chance to, get it covered,
If it can be
if
covered.
it can be done, yeah.
That is correct.
That's feasible.
Now,
The request is not an absolute, it's a request.
True.
right,
If the supervisor can work it out.
That's correct.
Correct?
That is
that
correct.
supervisor cannot fill that position, everything, you have to go back and tell them that we have to deny that, because can you fill
At that time. That is correct.
at that time?
Okay. That's the only hang up I had with it, because
It's gonna impact the budget a little bit because
there's money involved.
he's gonna have, fire department and police department will use overtime to
That's right.
fill that slot.
It's a good procedure, it's a good policy.
Yeah.
I think
it's
our
needed.
folks need it.
You're right.
Or part-time.
You said for a part-time?
Or you can put part-time in there. Or y'all can.
Or you can put part-time
You
in.
can hire me 4 people, and I can have 3 on per day, and when one wants to take off, then I go back to where I'm at right now. And we don't have to worry about that, you gotta hire me 4 people to do that.
And you're at 2?
I'm at 1 at each station per day. So whenever somebody's off, we got to fill that spot, I got to fill it. And I got to fill it, I'm going to have to get a part-time to work it, or get a full-time to come in and work overtime. I'm just saying, I just throw that in there, 4 people would take that out, so you just go back to working 2.
Right.
If somebody took off, same thing right now, if I had 4 more people, and one of my guys took off sick one day, I wouldn't have to worry about filling that spot, I just would be 1 person short. But I can't be 1 person short now, because 1 person means we close the station down.
With overtime, does that, well, that's a sidebar.
We'll just have to look at that
Yeah.
as far as the,
I make a motion we adopt the policy.
Motion been offered to adopt the policy, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded that we adopt the policy, is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, we shall vote, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? Motion has passed.
And the department heads, I have a copy of this so you guys can take a look at it and get a better understanding before it's actually published in, employee handbook.
If there's any pressure points with it, it can always be amended.
Yes.
While we're on that, I would like to address mayor and council that sometime after we get back from the holidays and from your training, I would highly recommend that you get with your department heads and look at the employee handbook. That, there is some things that do need to be looked at and reevaluated, should I say. If you all can please do that.
We also need to amend the budget at some point too.
Yes.
All right, moving on then, Mr. Chavis, turn that one over to you with the, past due water account.
Yeah, and this doesn't necessarily require a vote, this is just more or less a conversation I think we should have. Something that used to happen that doesn't happen anymore was prior to a water disconnect, a notice was served to the resident via door hanger, and I just think that's good business. I don't know of a utility company that doesn't give some type of notice of disconnect apart from just your regular monthly bill. And we stopped that for whatever reason, but I'd like to see that. be
The
put back into
reason
place.
is you're taking, first and foremost, you're using the additional fuel.
Mhm.
You're taking the manpower that could be installing a meter or changing out a meter are working on a leak in a road and they're out delivering notices. The expense is great.
So all 4 people that are in the office are too busy all day as well to not run out and deliver notices?
That wouldn't be their job.
Well, they work for the water department, some of them.
I agree, but, they're kind of busy up there collecting monies and all that. That's almost, like putting
Another job.
yeah.
Mhm.
I raised the point.
How many notices do we serve from,
None.
how many
This
how many
is,
potentially would we serve?
7 to 8 pages. It needs 7 to 8 pages of potential cutoffs.
And the majority of them, and I don't mean this in any way, the majority of them are habitual violators,
Yep.
repeaters. Am I correct?
At least 3 to 4 pages, you basically will put a notice at their house every month.
does the report, or can the report tell you how many times the water's been cut off?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So then maybe on the first offense, we provide a notice. If they're habitual, they don't get one. I've had several phone calls from people that were disgruntled by the fact that they had slipped my mind. I know it's their responsibility, and we're all adults, we should pay our bills, but I just don't know of another, we're a utility company in that respect. And I don't know of another utility company that doesn't provide some type of notice
So,
prior to a disconnect.
so we want the disconnect notices to be hung, cause normally we do the cutoffs on the 10th, right?
I don't care if it's a
So-
notice that they hang on the door, I don't care if they call the phone number.
No, we have
I
a
know they have them, but I'm saying as far as
But
the method, I don't.
the time period. So like if the cutoff is on the 10th, when would the personnel like to have a door hanger that says, hey, pay your bill? Is it moment after the 20th? Is technically the 21st is due in that time period, or should it be the day prior to it being cut off? Because whatever we do, we have to kind of stick with it. And you know what? I can help out. I got a truck. I drive around anyway.
Chris, what did we do prior to?
It's varied so many times, it just depends on what administration we were dealing with. I'm familiar with some places, they are roughly 3 days notice,
Yeah.
you know,
3 days before the cutoff or
give
whatever.
or take.
I think we could potentially work that. I'll put in a little bit of gas in my vehicle and my Ranger,
And we have all these people's phone numbers. I don't even care if
Normally
it's,
it's done with a call.
I don't even care if it's a phone call from City
If
Hall.
we can do it with a call, but it's got to be documented
That we
some
try to
form of
attempt,
fashion.
yeah, leave a
Right.
voicemail.
Now, if you get just a ring and you don't get a voicemail,
That's
then you're gonna have to call somebody, call Chris and let him run the note out.
That's
Sure, why not? I might as well.
I don't know the expense, but a lot of it's automated. I don't know what it costs to make that happen.
With our new payment system,
We might,
might have something in there.
we need to talk to Summer about that.
All right.
Can you help?
Yeah, like I said, nothing that we need to vote on, but a conversation that I felt
Yeah.
needed to be brought up.
Definitely.
Like I said, we need to include Summer on that so that, we can see about both things.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, next one, folks discuss and, vote on our meeting, schedule. We looked at this Monday. Anybody find anything after Monday that, we need to change?
I think we need to trim down and get rid of the workshops, if that's what you, if this is the place and time for that.
I think it's just about as good a place as anything, that would just shorten it down. I do warn you, when we do that, you have a potential, when you have a large meeting, that you got, 2 to 3 hour meeting. Although at the same time, you got some of our work sessions, we've been through in 30 minutes. Consider it all, y'all make the decision.
I think it's redundancy. I think we do a lot of the same thing twice, and like, for example, the loans and everything that we talked about tonight, we went through the whole gamut on Monday night, and now we've come to Tuesday night, and we're going through the whole thing again. It could just be consolidated, and I think if a meeting is needed, call one, or if a workshop is needed, call one. But think to have it every month is a bit redundant.
I don't know, but twice a month, I like seeing y'all beautiful faces and stuff, so, I don't know, I'm either or, so it doesn't make a difference to me.
I'm not saying there's no value in the workshop, but I'm saying there's not a lot of value in how we currently run our workshop.
From my understanding and in talking with previous employees, and Chief Wasden, you may want to chime in with me. The workshops were designed for the department heads to come to council and state their needs, their problems, and that kind of thing. And then somehow all of a sudden,
Turned into a second meeting.
yes, it did.
So what I would say is, why don't we take the first 30 minutes or first period of our Thursday night meeting and give an update or a needs request before going into the regular meeting? And if we need to have another meeting about it, call a meeting.
I know as city clerk, and when we all get together, a lot of cities have a workshop prior to their meeting. It allows the department heads, the employees, to address their concerns.
When I was president of the Chiefs Association, I went to Garden City, I think it was, and they allowed me to go, the mayor and council and department heads, took 30 minutes before the meeting and sat down and discussed what was on the agenda. No voting, no nothing, just this is what's on the agenda, you know, this may be something in your department, but they done that in 30 minutes, and they come out, they had the meeting, and if there was information, it was shared, you know.
So maybe we do that from 5 to 5:30, and then at 5:30 on Thursdays, we start our regular meeting.
It also, having meetings on Mondays does allow, if necessary, it allows legal time to investigate, things that is necessary for them to do, instead of being able to push it over to the next month or have a call meeting. I'm kinda like Chris said, I have mixed emotions about it. I see good, and I see some potential for some challenges.
Well,
We might wanna study this a little.
When we so I'm all about sometime trial and error, right? So why don't we, not necessarily approve this right now as an entirety? Why don't we, the next meeting that we do have, like the next meeting, not the next two meetings, but the next meeting, that Thursday, January 16th, why don't we try to do a 5 o'clock meeting, right? To discuss that 30 minutes prior to whatever we got going on, right? And department heads say whatever, however that it needs to be. And after that, go into the regular meeting and see how it goes. Unless, actually, we can't. We can't do it that way. Unless, alright, so.
It's gotta be an official meeting.
Well, no, I'm saying that because there was we were supposed to have this meeting for a bunch of different reasons. We did a call meeting last week, right? And we were supposed to address what we was gonna talk about in the call meeting tonight. Unfortunately, it didn't work out as well, right? Because of the limited information that we got and that communication form. So, but I think, do we plan on revisiting it? Cause this experiment's not gonna work if we plan on it.
You talk about January, that's gonna probably be an extended time for a work session.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
that's what he's saying.
So we can't do it in January for that.
Okay, alright,
You see what I'm saying?
please understand that in my job, and it doesn't affect you all, it affects me. This has to be posted for the public. And
Do you have to do it in a year? Or
No.
can you just
No.
do it? So why don't we just, instead of, I understand what you're saying, I'm gonna make it just a little bit more difficult for you, I apologize.
no, that's fine.
But let's just table on what the meeting's gonna look like, right? We post the Monday, January 13th, and Thursday, January 16th,
Yes.
for now, for the month of January. And then we can revisit this and see how it goes.
Okay,
You
okay,
ain't got a table, it's not a motion, it's just,
yeah.
we just agreed with that.
May I ask a question? I don't know if this could be done, but could we do a meeting on Monday? Trial and error.
According to your charter,
Okay.
the charter
That's what I thought.
is your governing body, no matter how old it is, no matter how outdated it is.
It says Thursday.
It says the
Thursday.
third
Mhm.
Thursday of every month, and you cannot change that.
Does the charter say the Monday before the third Thursday?
Nope.
Okay, then that meeting's not 100% necessary then. I'm growing very weary of sitting up here every third week and doing the same thing twice in a row. That's the point I'm trying to come across with. I think if we need to have a workshop, let's call the workshop. And let's not wait till the third Monday of the month. Let's call the workshop when we need to have a discussion, and then we can vote on that in the meeting. But I think having a workshop
Okay, I see what you're
every
saying.
meeting is ridiculous.
So you're saying instead of having it repetitive Monday and that Thursday?
The only, by law, the only thing that I have got to put is that third Thursday.
That's it. And I say we do that, and if we need to have a workshop, like we're gonna be talking about the ESG thing at a workshop soon, call a workshop, like the county does it, call a workshop.
As long as you give me 24 plus
24.
hours, we good.
And just be done.
I'd suggest that, January that we, continue a workshop. And then go from there on February. Chris was right when, that might be extended.
Yeah, we have to get that up in the bud and look for the future.
So January, we will, y'all are saying, let's have a work session on
Monday.
Monday
the 13th. Woo-hoo, woo, starting off a good week.
Yeah, I know.
And then go ahead with the council meeting on the 16th. And
Going forward,
then
then,
we go forward from that point on.
That is correct.
would they just
However-
have a regular scheduled council meeting?
You do, in June,
Now, are you talking, let me clarify that, are you talking about regular session, or are you gonna meet a half hour earlier, after
Yeah.
January, February, we gonna
We'll do
meet
5 to
5 o'clock?
5:30.
Okay, I'll just clarify.
From February on, we'll meet it on Thursdays from 5 to 5:30 will be a workshop, and then 5:30 on will be our regular council meeting. And then if we
Okay.
need to have a call workshop, we can call a workshop.
I think that's good, see, that'll allow, Chris to see my lovely face a little longer.
so keep in mind, in June, according to the schedule, you have June 19th, Juneteenth is a holiday, and that's on a Thursday, so you will have to have your meeting in June on Monday.
That's fine, as long as
Unless
it's
you
not
so
twice.
choose to change it to another Thursday night.
I don't
Same
care.
thing.
I just don't wanna have the same
Okay.
meeting twice.
Okay, not a problem, I can redo that.
Okay, spit that motion out clear enough, and I, repeat.
Well, technically,
We got, so you want us to approve the next year's,
N-
We need,
Wait
we
until
don't have
after,
let's wait until after January.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, we don't have to
wait
make a
until
motion
after
for it.
January.
Let's do it in January, how about that?
Yes.
Put that on
I'm
January.
yeah.
okay, postponing the.
All right, making progress.
Okay.
That'll give me another vote in my favor too, Mr. Johnson.
All right, if I
Number 12 is
find,
just information.
find my thing, it's just information that we have on November, the monthly report from our police departments, just information for y'all. Then, we look at, number 13, 14, and 15. I recommend that we put those together and vote on them.
So moved.
Motion's been made that we combine 13, 14, 15. Do I have a second?
I'll second, sir.
Motion's been made that we combine, 13, 14, 15, and vote on those. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, motion is passed. All right, Madam Clerk, you want this one, or you want me to do it on the?
Just a reminder, the Christmas dinner will be Monday, December the 23rd at the Social Hall at the First Methodist Church. I have gotten the count, thus far. If there's any changes, please get with me so that I can get with, our caterer there. Our holidays will be December the 24th and the 25th, returning on the 26th with regular business hours.
Are we gonna give the employees off after lunch on the 23rd?
Yes, sir.
If all
Yes, sir.
things are complete, I know last time the commercial garbage was not, and they stayed an additional whatever, right?
Mhm.
after,
if their
will
job
that be
is complete.
finished?
It's gonna, they finished early this week, but if they don't come in the weekend, they'll probably work Thursday next week.
Thursday of next week?
Well, not Christmas, but, yeah, they come in day after Christmas.
Well, we'll all be back the day after
Yeah, that's regular
Christmas.
scheduled work days.
Well,
24th and
yeah.
25th is allocated days to be off, I'm talking about the 23rd. After the Christmas party, after lunch,
They still gonna work,
that's what I'm saying.
yes.
Yeah.
And they'll probably come in the next day too.
Mm,
Christmas Eve?
Yes.
No, that shouldn't have to be.
Mm-mm.
That's the 23rd and, so
Oh,
that,
no.
24th and
Not-
25th.
I'm.
It's the 26th.
They will come in this weekend, Lord have mercy.
Are we behind?
We finished, we're completely done today. They're gonna make a loop in the morning, the couple people that didn't have their trash cans out that normally get picked up on Friday because they finished early, so they're gonna make a loop in the morning.
That's Ward 4, correct?
Ward 4. But no, it won't be done.
Okay. I just wanna make sure.
They'll,
Yeah,
they'll
but-
have off Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good.
We
Yeah,
want to
'cause
definitely have that
I'm
off,
like a
but,
big people.
to back at what Mike was saying too, we all know, we kind of forget it, you've got an extra concentration of trash in our cities right now. And, then Santa Claus comes, he's gonna have a lot more put out there.
That's
So,
correct.
it is a challenge.
I was trying to say that after Christmas, next weekend, they probably,
Come in that
Saturday,
better.
they're gonna be working.
Just to catch up.
Yes.
Do we have any extra dumpsters?
No.
Do we still have them out in certain positions right now or no?
No, we picked them up, the one up from the fairgrounds out there, and it's at a,
Residential area?
it's at a business.
Uh-huh.
And we picked up the small one and we took it back, but we got one that's at a small one that's at the church.
Okay.
And we can pick that one up.
Do we know when we get the commercial one back? And the reason I'm asking this question is because kind of the same concept that we did throughout the storm. Sporadically put dumpsters out, so we can say, hey, it's a dumpster here, here, and here. So if you have excess trash or whatever, put it in it. And go, as we go around with the routes, empty them just like we did for the storm.
I can get two.
You get two total or two more? Two more?
I get two total.
Two total, okay. So I'm looking at potentially doing that to help out with that process, so, because we know 23rd, correct, 24th and 25th, there's gonna be a lot of excess trash, but if we have those sporadic places to put dumpsters, and I don't know if the county can help out with that or not, I'll ask the question, and see, because that would definitely help Jeff Davis County and the city of Pageers, if we have dedicated areas that they could
I'll,
put
I'll
trash and
shoot
stuff.
Shane a text, ask him.
Okay, yeah.
We also need to consider here in the future, getting more dumpsters.
Yeah, purchasing some more dumpsters for sure.
Which we do have some that haven't came in yet, correct? We did purchase, how many did we purchase?
All those come in, and those, we had 3 that was busted, we had replaced, and, I have 2 of the new ones left.
Two of them.
One of them was at the church, because it's giving out place, and, lady rented another, but I can pick that one up and the one in the church.
So that kinda helps out just a tad bit to do that. Okay,
All right, before I leave that one too, supervisors, I ask you again to please, reiterate with your people about, guests, numbers coming to the, thing, so we don't waste food and we don't, have an overage. Please reiterate that with all of your employees. We want them there with spouses, et cetera, but, please make sure we know what we're doing. Citizen comments?
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
The council, do y'all know all the city employees? Y'all know them personally or by name?
for the most part, yes, sir.
Most part.
I'd like to see us next year, when we hire a new employee, supervisor bring them to our early session and introduce them. That way we know, they know who we are as much as we know who they are. And I think it'd be a good PR relationship for us to do that.
It's a great idea.
We used to do that many years ago. In fact, we used to have to go to every city councilman with that employee before they were hired and get approval.
that, slow that process down.
But anyway, just, no, I totally agree with that, that's what we should do. But the first things first, right? We need to make sure to see what we're gonna do with our management company. And so that needs to be completed, and then we can start a routine to get along with the department heads and the employees and everything else. So I feel pretty confident. But yes, sir, definitely need to do it.
Okay. Any further comments, Mayor, Council?
I have something, Mayor, I'm not Mayor and Council, but,
You said-
on November the 26th, I received an email from our citizen, Mr. Niles Dixon, and I would like to read it, please. I want to express my appreciation and admiration to and for the crews in the big black trucks who are working so very hard to clean up our city, our neighborhoods, and our county after the devastation of Helene. They are up and running early and not shutting down until late. The hours they are working must be exhausting, and the time away from their families is a sacrifice. They do not need to think their efforts and sacrifice are not noticed. They are doing a phenomenal job and at a fantastic rate of speed. We should all take our hats off to them, shake their hand, and say thank you. That would be such a small but heartfelt gesture. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Niles C. Dixon. And the words spoken is so true. They have given in a lot more ways than what I have. I don't know about anyone else. They have walked away from their families, and I'm sure that some of them probably has had devastation too, and it's having to sit there until they get back home. So, I know they always, are humbled when you just stop and talk with them. They have a very humble attitude.
I got one more, thing that I'd like to throw out, and if there be no objections, I'd like for it to take place. We have a guard in our prisoners, that have been doing an outstanding, job. They've cleared up some things even just a few days ago. We're supposed to have our group that's coming in and cleaning up city and county properties, but they're so, overwhelmed with everything that's there. I allowed the, city to take our prisoners and to clean up as best they could. Now, they couldn't get these big, root balls out, particularly over in the, cemetery, but even some of those, our, city has actually moved some of those and, done that, but they have actually done a great job working with our city. They've gone above and beyond what they have to do, that's there. I'd like for us to send as a city an accommodation to our prison guard and his workers, his prisoners.
Maybe we can send something to the warden.
Yes.
To let them know.
To let them know, just an accommodation to them, to let them know what he is really accomplishing for the city of Hazelhurst.
That's fine, I think.
Good. Okay, if no objections, then, Bernice will help me get that done.
Sounds great. I've got one last comment on the,
And that,
Okay, go ahead.
that's fine.
That's good.
We discussed prior to the meeting, there's an alleyway that's a city alleyway that's runs along my house. So I guess this is a citizen / council comment. And it runs all the way down back through Walton Way, and it's abandoned by the city. And it's overgrown, there's a lot of trees that have fallen in that. There's also some abandoned vehicles and trash and just lots of stuff in the alleyway that need to be cleaned out. I would ask that the city would look into either cleaning it out or deeding it one way or the other to the homeowner so that we can maintain it. Not asking for anything formal tonight, but just to look into.
We look into that, we, like you said, you got two options, to be able to deed it, that'll,
It'd be,
you guys, we can do that.
I mean, it'd be nice to have an alleyway to set my trash can right there for the trash truck to run through, so it doesn't have to be on the road front, but I also understand that if that's not feasible for the city to clean it out, then I'd like for it to be deeded so we can come in.
Something that we need to look into, we ought to be able to tackle that, in January too, and make, something out.
I'll be trying to think.
right. Alright, so I want to revisit something. I know, we agreed to pay out Christmas bonuses, I think they were the 2nd or 3rd of December, right? Now, I was looking at it, I was trying to just confirm it, right? And the, personnel handbook, and it's section 5.2.11, and it talks about Christmas bonuses for regular full-time employees shall receive at the end of each calendar year as follows. Now, on it, it specifies 3 months to 1 year of employment. The, employee receives $50, right? On the sheet that we actually got, we owe, so far to my knowledge, we owe, just wanna make sure. I wanna say that would be it. We owe at least 4 personnel, at least $50. Because they meet the time limit between the 3 months to the 12-month time period. And I can give you the personnel names, if that's okay?
Mm-mm.
You don't need it? Okay.
Mm-mm.
But it's 4 of them. We owe them $50 for Christmas bonus. I know we're a little bit late, but we at least owe that to them. Guess the last thing, I was gonna just talk about for the ones that came to the call meeting, we was gonna discuss about the ESG, and tonight was supposed to have been, the decision maker, right? Unfortunately, all the data and all the information that we needed to deny it has not came in yet. Y'all listen to that? That's a joke, right?
I heard the deny part, but, you are correct. All the information we need to make a decision by council, is not there, and we need to extend that.
Yeah, we have to extend it out, and then, we will revisit it hopefully in January. We'll have some little, I guess, sit downs with the management company, have some questions, have some big concerns, and.
Maybe a valuable workshop.
Yes, that's what I was saying for January, time period. So, to continue, I know that you probably was gonna ask that question about it, about the ESG, maybe for the paper, right? And so that's the,
I was wondering about that.
yeah, that's the.
She was riveted.
The plan is at this time, the first full week of, January, each of the council will get to meet with the ESG, ask questions one-on-one. We can't do it unless we do it for the full session. And then at that time, at our, work session, which will be that, Monday, we can, then let them present again, let them, ask any other question, air out anything that needs to be done, and, still be able to make decisions on that following Thursday. Yes, no, or in between. Okay, any further comments?
I would like to say one thing, that we took off our trash today for the county. They are closing Saturday and not reopening until Thursday. County dump sites, they told us that today.
Not opening until Thursday,
Closing Saturday and are not gonna reopen until Thursday.
because they don't really open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but Tuesday they don't, cause Monday they don't
They're off
open anyway,
anyway.
so
Hmm.
that's gonna be tough. Can you,
That
can
was
we
just-
ask the county, I know this is Hazelhurst, I know this is Jeff Davis, right? One of the things that Appleton County does do, like for the city of Graham, I always use them, like in-laws or whatever, 300 people there, 400 people, right? What they do, they drop a dumpster on, normally what they do, I don't know if they're gonna do it this year, they drop a dumpster in the vicinity of where the fire station is. Like the same dumpster that they have at the site that we have for our trash site, and then for residents and whoever else coming through can put their excess trash in that, like I don't know how big that is, but they put one of those, position them throughout Appleton County,
I could ask, I wanted to ask.
but then we don't know where we put it at, that's the next thing.
That would be their decision,
Yeah,
where
I
they
can ask
would
them.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that would help out if they're gonna, cause is this the first time that they're doing it that
I
long?
don't know, she just
Well-
told us that today
do know they're closing at lunch Monday, because I did ask about that. And, he said they'd be returning on Thursday, which I know the county sites are closed on Monday. Unfortunately, it's the way the holiday is falling.
It's just a weird.
It's,
Middle of the week.
it's just weird,
Yeah.
cause you got Christmas Eve Tuesday,
shoot
and
it
you got
Tuesday.
Christmas Wednesday.
Mhm.
And, but their normal day off is a Monday.
That's correct.
It's just the way it's fell this year.
No, it's gonna be a lot of trash all over, so.
You know, us county people be looking for a place to dump.
And that's the reason why we kind of went around whenever the storm was going on, and a lot of stores who only get one dump a week, people were randomly put in it, and I'm to blame for that as well, because I did it myself. And that's why we kind of had that rotation going around. You're looking at me, I'm being honest, like.
Just throw it over the fence, Mary Ann, it'll be all right.
Or we can put it with your people. We can put it with your people.
Stack it up.
Yeah, just
Stack
on
it
the
up.
other side, yeah.
Stack it up.
Or in that easement thing,
Stack it up.
Oh. Behave.
just saying. It could work.
I thought I was the clown. Y'all taking my job. All right, any further comment?
All right, and the last thing.
I'm on motion to censor all of y'all.
MLK
Yes.
Junior Parade is actually on January the 18th, which is, will be that Saturday instead of the Monday, because it's all the stuff that was going on with it. And the lineup is at 11:30, and the parade starts at 1 p.m. And it's the same route we did last year.
Okay.
Same, everything, nothing changed. Get in, get out, and then also after the parade, there will be a cook-off, or it won't be a cook-off.
Took out.
It'll be a cookout, and they will be serving meals. They expecting 100 to 150 people. Come out, get you something to eat, go and mingle, whatever, and go home. So,
I'll make a motion that we issue the parade and event permits
okay.
for January the 18th for the Martin Luther King.
Starting at 11.
Starting at 11:30.
Okay.
Motion been offered that, we issue the parade permit for the MLK, starting at 11:30,
And the event permit.
and the event, permit, afterwards.
And I'll,
Or that Mary, is that Mary Fraser
it's,
Park?
yes.
Yeah, Mayor, yeah, that's part.
And I'll second that.
And motion has been made and seconded, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. Motion has passed.
Just to have, the young lady with the community league
Mhm.
come by and get the paperwork and
Yes,
fill
ma'am.
it out.
And I have this if you would like to put this in the paper for this upcoming, time period, and you can publicize that.
All right, Dwayne is not here, so
Let's go home. That was a motion.
there's no, okay, I could text you, you ain't gotta have one, but the motion is passed.